All right, the Detroit Lions have done something that, quite frankly, I haven't seen them do yet, and they just proved why Dan Campbell is a phenomenal coach, and they have a great coaching staff. We're going to get into that. But first, as we begin this video, I want to talk to you about something that's been on my mind lately. If you don't know me, I have the diet of a toddler. Like me and my 7-year-old have a very similar diet. I don't like vegetables. I barely like fruits. And so I've always tried to, fill in, whether it's with greens, whether it's with multivitamins, but it never seems to do anything for me. Like it doesn't help. And then I found this guy, Grums, and they're doing a special right now. This is the Grums Smith apple. It is a fall only thing, so stock up while you can. I'm going to tell you why I like Grums more than anything else. They're a comprehensive formula. It's a daily pack of gummies, all right? And they have to put it in 7 to 9 gummies because they couldn't fit it all into one, and because they do it the right way. It's not a multivitamin. It's not a greens gummy. It's not even a prebiotic. It's all those things and then some at a fraction of the price. And my favorite thing about this is that they're this thing that's called methylated, and that's a fancy word and fancy talk for vitamins like B12 and folate that can be absorbed in your body. 30% of the population, I just learned about this, can't absorb those things into their body unless they're methylated. Grums does that. So the question you have to ask yourself is, are you one of the 30%? So I'm going to have one of these because it's just too good not to do it. I keep them right down here as I'm recording because I know I'm going to record every day. All right, fine. I'll have a gummy while I'm doing it. And it tastes so good. Not to mention, it's really good for my gut. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to click the link below, all right, to get up to 52% off. They're already pretty cheap when you think about what a good product it is, but get up to 52% off the Grums Smith apple by hitting the link below or scanning the QR code that you're seeing on the screen right now. I think this will change your multivitamin. We don't even want to call it that because it's so much more, all right? Last thing I'm going to say about it. Look at this. Whole food vegetables, whole food fruits, vitamins and minerals, super mushrooms, antioxidants, adaptogens, gut health prebiotics, and it's clean. Vegan, gluten-free, nut-free, dairy-free, no artificial colors. Thank you, no red 40, no artificial flavors, non-GMO. I'm a dad. I'm more worried about these things. As I get older, I'm in more pain. What I put in my body affects how I live my life. These are really helpful. Hope you like them as much as I do. Click the link, scan the QR code. See you in a little bit. I've been taking those for like a week now. They're great. I have to admit, they're fantastic. I'm still in all-go fan mode, though, for the Detroit Lions. Just so excited because of what they are doing. I mean, the way that they absolutely just dismantled the Chicago Bears was fantastic, but it's more than that. We think about the New England Patriots, right? When we think about dynasties as of late, you think of great guys like the Chiefs and Andy Reid, Bill Belichick with the Patriots. You think of John Harbaugh with the Ravens. You think there's a lot of great coaches, not a ton, but there's been quite a few great coaches that have had good coaches come off of them. But one thing the great coaches all have in common is that when they have a player or a coach, I should say, drop off their roster, they then beat them. Bill Belichick, Nick Saban was phenomenal at this for the longest time at Alabama, just destroying his disciples, right? And at the first opportunity, this is the first opportunity we've had with the Detroit Lions at beating a Dan Campbell disciple, and we did. And I think the other thing that we started to prove in this game is that this offense, which is what we've said the entire offseason, and week 1 did not help us in that, but what we've said over the entire offseason is that this is Dan Campbell's offense. This genius brain power comes from Dan Campbell. It doesn't just come from Ben Johnson. It comes from the talent on the field. It doesn't just come from Ben Johnson. And against Ben Johnson, how much fun was that? To watch us go against the guy who could have gone anywhere. He could have gone last year to the Washington Commanders, who had a great GM, who had the 2nd pick in the NFL draft 2 years ago. He could have gone there, but he decided to stay. And we were all thankful for it. And he had a mission, and it was to win the Super Bowl. And we didn't do that. We didn't win that Super Bowl. And then he went to the Bears. So, yes, we can be angry with him. Yes, we can not like him. That's fine. All right. But also, we can be happier about the fact that our offense just did under John Morton what it did. There was a rhythm in play calling that John Morton and Jared Goff found today that they couldn't have in week 1. And it was something that they found faster. And this is the other thing that this team has never done before. They found it faster than any Ben Johnson team. All right, here I'm going to show you just a little close-up of our schedule. This is our first 2 games of the 2025 season. We lost 27-13, then we won 52-21. Let's go back to 2024. All right, in 2024, in our first game, we scored 26, but it took overtime. And I've talked about this on the channel before. We scored 20 in regulation. In the second game, we lost, and we only scored 16 points. In the third game, we won and only scored 20. All right? It took us till game 4 to catch fire against Seattle, and I don't even know if that counts because us and Seattle always play in a shootout early on in the season. In 2023, under Ben Johnson, all right? Under Ben Johnson, we lost 37-31 in overtime in week 2, but in week 1, we found a way to win, but we only got 21 points. In week 3, we found a way to win, but we only got 20 points. Do you understand the point that I'm making here? The point that I am making here is that this is a team that does not get off to really fast, really hot starts. It doesn't. It doesn't. It was the same thing in 2022. We got off to a little faster start because then Ben Johnson was off to his first ever, and we were just throwing the ball over the field because we were getting beat because our defense was giving up so many points. The Detroit Lions in this game found an offensive rhythm faster than I have ever seen them find an offensive rhythm, period. And they beat a Dan Campbell disciple decisively. And this was a close game through the first quarter. You know, it looked like both teams through the first quarter, I think it was like 130 total yards for the Lions, 122 total yards for the Bears. It seemed like there was a really even matchup. And so, sorry, I peeked. I'm still watching football games, right? It's one of those things where it was close, and then the talent of the teams, the depth chart, but more so than that, we outcoached them from that point on. The Chicago Bears offense could get nothing going because Calvin Shepard, made the necessary adjustments for the second game in a row. For the second game in a row, we got off to a slow start defensively. For the second game in a row, we started locking the clamps on in the second quarter. With Aaron Glenn, it was either a great plan of attack from the beginning or it didn't work. It was all or nothing. And for both the Packers and the Bears, they blitzed us on offense. Bears only 1 possession, Packers 2, and then the clamps went on. It wasn't like that last year. It wasn't like that the year before. And by the way, the Jets have had a couple of good opponents, don't get me wrong. I mean, Steelers, you can say whatever you want, but Aaron Glenn's defense has gotten blitzed 2 weeks in a row as well. So I think he's still going to be a good head coach. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm trying to say is that these new coordinators are doing a good job to quickly clean up the mistakes that were made last week on offense to what they are now is fantastic. It's fantastic to be able to show. Dan Campbell is not a guy who loses 2 games in a row. Like over the last 2 years, we have seen he's not losing 2 games in a row. Part of that was because of the offensive coordinator's abilities to make and change plays. And make and change not just plays, but the direction, what we're going to do, make adjustments to get the players motivated. And we just were shown that that's not changing. This is still a team that doesn't going to have back-to-back stinker of a games. And now we need to get rolling because we got the Baltimore Ravens, and we have to go to them, and they're coming off a nice, easy victory over the Cleveland Browns. Okay, all right, but we thought the Bears were going to be something this year. We did. And now they're 0-2 in conference play. Like, we knew they had talent. I didn't know if we thought they were going to be something. But we just proved that, hey, you still have to go through us. And they clearly aren't ready to do that yet, and I hope we can keep it in that same way. Just so much fun to watch, something we haven't seen before. All right. Hey, thank you so much for watching. If you like this channel, please hit that subscribe button, and we will see you on the next one.